Listen to me. Imagine somebody walked up to you right now and said, there's a briefcase with $1 billion inside, but you got 24 hours to chase it, 24 hours to fight for it, 24 hours to get it. If you don't go after it with everything you've got, you lose it forever. You wouldn't sleep. You wouldn't waste a second scrolling. You wouldn't complain. You move with fire because you know what $1 billion can do for your family, your future, your legacy. Now here's the question. Why don't you chase your dreams with that same hunger? Because let me tell you something. Your dreams are worth more than money. $1 billion can buy a mansion, but it can't buy purpose. It can buy cars, but it can't buy legacy. Your dreams are the blueprint to the life you were created to live. When you wake up every day and go after your goals, like your whole life depends on it, like somebody's holding that $1 billion briefcase, you stop making excuses. You stop wasting time. You stop letting fear dictate your life. Look, success don't come to the lazy. Success don't come to the distracted. Success comes to the one who chases it like it's oxygen, like it's food, like it's water. Because when you move like that, nothing can stop you. So the question is, what happens if you go after your dream like it's $1 billion? You become unstoppable. You become legendary. And most importantly, you become the best version of you. Urgency is everything. You've been living like you got time. You walk around every day acting like tomorrow is guaranteed. You keep saying, I'll start next week. I'll start next week. I'll chase my dreams when I get some money. I'll go hard when things calm down. But the truth is, you don't know how much time you've got. You don't know if you got a week, a day, or even an hour left. That's why urgency is everything. You can't afford to live like you got forever. You can't afford to keep waiting. The clock is ticking on your dream, and every second you waste, somebody else is out there grinding, somebody else is putting in the work, somebody else is taking the opportunities that should have been yours. I need you to feel this in your spirit. Say in your spirit. Imagine somebody told you that you've got 24 hours to live. What would you do? Would you sit around scrolling on your phone, gossiping, complaining, or would you move with purpose? You call your family, you hug your kids, you write the book, you start the business, you go after everything you've been putting off. You stop being scared of failing because failing wouldn't matter anymore. You stop worrying about people's opinions because their opinions wouldn't matter anymore. You live with urgency because you finally understand that time is the most valuable thing you got. That's the mindset you gotta live with every single day. You don't wait until the doctor says you got a few weeks left. You don't wait until tragedy strikes. You live like today is your last shot, because in reality, it might be. And if it's not, at least you'll have given your dream everything you've got. Too many of you are moving slow. Too many of you are letting procrastination steal your future. Too many of you are waiting for the stars to align, for the perfect time, for the perfect situation. But listen to me, there will never be a perfect time. There will never be perfect time. There will never be perfect conditions. The only perfect time is now. Urgency changes how you move. Urgency makes you stop hitting the snooze button. Urgency makes you stop saying a later and start saying a now. Urgency makes you get up when you don't feel like it, because you realize you don't have the luxury of waiting for motivation. Urgency pushes you past laziness, past fear, past doubt, because you understand that every minute counts. When you live with urgency, you stop wasting time on meaningless stuff. You stop spending hours watching shows, playing games, doing things that don't get you closer to your goals. You start asking yourself, with everything you do, but does this get me closer to my dream or further away? And if it doesn't move you forward, you cut it out. I'm telling you, the most dangerous lie you've been told is that you got time. That's why people keep putting their dreams off. That's why people keep saying a someday. But someday is not a day on the calendar. Someday is an excuse. Someday is where dreams go to die. You've got to shift from a someday to a today. You've got to stop waiting for permission and give yourself permission. You've got to stop waiting for opportunity and create your own opportunity. That's what urgency does. It makes you take control. When you move with urgency, you separate yourself from the average. Average people waste time. Average people live like they've got 1,000 years. Greatness belongs to the urgent. Greatness belongs to the ones who look at the clock and say, I don't have time to waste. You can't keep living like you got forever. You've got to live like time is running out, because it is. Every day you're either getting closer to your dream or further from it. There's no standing still. Every day you're either moving forward or you're falling behind. I need you to think about this. How many opportunities have you already missed because you weren't moving with urgency? How many times did you have a chance to apply, to start, to connect, to learn, and you hesitated, you waited, you delayed, and somebody else snatched it up? You didn't lose because you weren't talented. You didn't lose because you weren't smart. You lost because you weren't urgent. The window of opportunity doesn't stay open forever. If you don't act, it closes. And once it's gone, it's gone. That's why you gotta move now. That's why you gotta treat every day like it's your last chance. You've gotta wake up with fire in your chest, with urgency in your veins. You gotta stop thinking you got time to play around. You don't. You got one life, one shot, one chance. And when it's over, it's over. The worst thing you can do is die with regret, knowing you had dreams inside you that never saw the light of day because you were too busy waiting. Urgency is not about being in a rush. It's about being intentional. It's about deciding that you're not gonna waste another day, another hour, another minute. It's about moving like your life depends on it. Urgency says, I don't have time to argue, I don't have time to argue. I don't have time to hate. I don't have time to waste. I've got dreams to build. I've got goals to hit. I've got a legacy to leave. Urgency says, I will not procrastinate. I will not delay. I will not waste my shot. You've got to want your dream bad enough to stop treating it like an option and start treating it like a necessity. You've got to want it bad enough to cut off distractions, to sacrifice comfort, to give up temporary pleasures for permanent success. When you live with urgency, you start treating every practice like it's the championship, every meeting like it's the opportunity of a lifetime, every rep, every move, every action like it matters, because it does. Listen to me. Your family is counting on you. Your future is counting on you. Your legacy is counting on you. Somebody out there needs what you got, needs your dream, needs your gift, and you're sitting around acting like you got forever. You don't. Somebody's waiting on you to show up, but you can't show up if you're moving slow. You can't show up if you're wasting your days. You can't show up if you're not urgent. I'm telling you, urgency is everything. Without it, talent is wasted. Without it, potential is wasted. Without it, dreams die. But with urgency, you can do in a year what most people won't do in a lifetime. With urgency, you can build, you can grow, you can conquer. With urgency, you become unstoppable because time is no longer your enemy, it becomes your fuel. So the next time you want to sleep in, the next time you want to put something off, the next time you want to wait until tomorrow, I need you to remember, you might not get tomorrow. You might not get tomorrow. You might not get another shot. You might not get another chance. This is the moment. This is the time. Move like your dream is on the line. Move like your life is on the line. Move like it's now or never, because it is. Comfort is killing your dream. Comfort is the silent assassin of greatness. Comfort whispers to you, well, take it easy, relax, you deserve it, you can do it tomorrow. And while you're listening, while you're laying back, while you're scrolling, while you're chilling, your dream is slipping further and further away. Sacrifice comfort. If you want to be great, if you want to achieve something extraordinary, you have to give up being comfortable. Every single person you admire, every person who has achieved greatness, every person who has changed their life, every person who has built something that lasts, they sacrificed comfort. They gave up sleep. They gave up parties. They gave up hanging out. They gave up wasting time. They put themselves in uncomfortable positions on purpose because they understood that growth never comes from comfort. Growth always comes from struggle. Growth comes from pressure. Growth comes from pressure. Growth comes from being stretched beyond what you thought you could have. Comfort feels good, but comfort is a trap. Now, comfort is easy. Comfort is warm. Comfort is soft. But comfort doesn't challenge you. Comfort doesn't force you to level up. Comfort keeps you average. Comfort makes you believe you're doing enough when you're not even scratching the surface of your potential. That's why most people never reach greatness. That's why most people die with regrets. They never had the courage to leave their comfort zone. You say you want success. You say you want the dream life. You say you want to build something legendary. But do you want it more than comfort? Do you want it more than the luxury of sleeping in? Do you want it more than binge watching shows, playing games, scrolling for hours? Do you want it more than your excuses? Because that's the real test. Comfort will always be there, waiting to pull you back. Every time you make a decision to grow, comfort whispers, "I'll come back, rest. You don't need to do all that." And you have to be strong enough to say no. Listen to me. If you're not uncomfortable, you're not growing. If you're not stretching, you're not improving. If you're not sacrificing, you're not building anything real. You've got to put yourself in situations where you don't feel ready, where you don't feel prepared, where you don't feel prepared, where you don't feel safe. Because that's where greatness is. That's where you discover who you really are. Comfort never shows you who you are. Struggle does. Pain does. Sacrifice does. You got to make a decision. Do you want to live easy now and pay with regret later? Or do you want to sacrifice comfort now and live with freedom later? That's the choice. Too many of you want both. You want to be comfortable and successful. You want to stay in bed and build your dream. You want to avoid pain and still grow. It doesn't work like that. Success demands sacrifice. Comfort and greatness cannot live in the same house. One of them has to go. Sacrifice comfort means you get up when you don't feel like it. It means you go to the gym when your body is tired. It means you study when your friends are out. It means you keep working when everyone else is done. It means you live today in a way most people won't, so you can live tomorrow in a way most people can't. It means you stop asking, what feels good right now? And start asking, what builds my future? I remember hearing stories of people who became millionaires, not because they were the smartest, not because they had the best connections, not because they had the most resources, but because they were willing to sacrifice more comfort than anyone else. They were willing to wake up earlier, stay up later, grind harder, sacrifice more. And in the end, that sacrifice separated them. Comfort never separates you. Comfort makes you just like everybody else. Sacrifice sets you apart. You got to get to the point where being comfortable makes you uncomfortable. You got to hate the feeling of not growing. You got to despise wasting time. You got to reach a place where the idea of staying the same, of not moving forward, of not progressing, it makes you sick. That's when you know you're ready to sacrifice comfort. Listen, you can't keep running from pain. You can't keep avoiding hard work. You can't keep hiding in what's easy. Life is not supposed to be easy. Growth is not supposed to be easy. Growth is not supposed to be easy. Nothing worth having comes easy. The easy road leads to mediocrity. The hard road, the road filled with sacrifice, that's the road to greatness. You've got to stop chasing easy. You've got to stop chasing what feels good and start chasing what makes you grow. Sacrifice comfort is not just about working hard. It's about training your mind to love the grind. It's about rewiring your brain to see struggle, not as punishment, but as preparation. It's about reminding yourself every day that comfort is temporary, but the dream is forever. That extra hour of sleep feels good now, but it costs you regret. That night of partying feels fun now, but it costs you focus. That wasted weekend feels relaxing now, but it costs you opportunities. Comfort always gives you a small reward now, but steals the big reward later. So you gotta flip it. You gotta give up the small reward now for the big reward later. That's sacrifice. That's how champions are made. They're not made in comfort. They're made in sweat, in grind, in hustle, in discipline, in sacrifice. Every athlete you admire, every entrepreneur you look up to, every leader you respect, they sacrifice comfort. They didn't get there because it was easy. They got there because they were willing to do what others weren't. And here's the truth. Once you start sacrificing comfort, once you start pushing past the easy road, once you start embracing struggle, you'll realize you're stronger than you thought. You'll realize you can do more than you imagined. You'll realize that the limits you thought were real were only comfort talking. Comfort lies. Comfort tells you you can't do it. It's too hard. Stop trying. But sacrifice reveals the truth, that you are capable, that you are powerful, that you are unstoppable when you commit. Sacrifice comfort and watch how your life changes. Sacrifice comfort and watch how your mindset shifts. Sacrifice comfort and watch how opportunities start showing up. Why? Because when you sacrifice comfort, you show the universe you're serious. You show life you're ready. You show yourself that you're worthy of more. Comfort says, stay the same. Sacrifice says a level up. The question is, what are you willing to give up? Are you willing to give up sleep? Are you willing to give up friends who waste your time? Are you willing to give up your favorite show? Are you willing to give up weekends of doing nothing? Are you willing to give up the habits that keep you average? Because if you're not, stop lying to yourself about wanting greatness. If you're not willing to sacrifice comfort, stop pretending you want to change your life. Because success is not about what you're willing to do. It's about what you're willing to give up. Sacrifice is the price. Comfort is the enemy. You can't have both. You got to decide. And once you decide, once you make the choice to sacrifice comfort every day, once you start moving, even when you don't feel like it, once you start doing the work, no matter how hard it gets, that's when you'll see the difference. That's when you'll separate yourself. That's when you'll finally start becoming who you were born to be. The reason so many of you are stuck where you are is not because you're not talented. It's not because you don't have the ability. It's not because you don't have the potential. The reason you're stuck is because you don't have focus. You're scattered. You're chasing too many things at once. You got too many tabs open in your life, too many distractions pulling you in every direction. And when your energy is spread out, when your attention is scattered, you can't hit anything with power. You can't break through. You can't achieve greatness without focus. Focus is the difference between people who dream and people who do. Focus is the difference between average and extraordinary. Focus is the difference between wasting time and maximizing time. Think about a magnifying glass. If you just wave it around, the sunlight passes right through it. But if you hold it still, if you lock in, that sunlight turns into a beam strong enough to set something on fire. That's what focus does. When you concentrate all your energy, all your effort, all your mind on one thing, you create fire. You create heat, create power. But when you're distracted, when you're halfway in, halfway out, when you're doing 10 different things at once, you never get enough energy in one place to ignite anything. That's why you're not seeing results. You're too spread out. Do everything, please everybody. Stop wasting energy on things that don't matter. You gotta learn to say no. You gotta learn to cut things off. You've got to learn to put blinders on. You've got to learn to lock in. The people who win in life are not the ones doing the most. They're the ones focusing the most. Some of you wonder why you're not further along, why your dream isn't moving. It's because you keep starting and stopping. You work for a week, then you're distracted for a month. You study for a day, then you quit for a week. You save money for 2 months, then blow it in one weekend. You're inconsistent because you're not focused. Focus means you lock in until it's done. Focus means you don't stop halfway. Focus means you put everything you've got into one direction until you break through. Focus is not easy. That's why most people don't have it. Focus requires discipline. Focus requires sacrifice. Focus requires you to ignore the noise, ignore the distractions, ignore the people trying to pull you off track. And that's hard because the world is full of noise. Your phone is ringing. Notifications are popping up. People are calling you, texting you, asking you to hang out. There's a million things trying to steal your attention, but you've got to make a choice. Do you want to be distracted or do you want to be successful? Because you can't be both. When you're focused, you're dangerous. When you're focused, you're powerful. When you're focused, you stop wasting time and start making time work for you. When you're focused, you stop moving in circles and start moving in straight lines. You start making progress. You start building momentum. You start achieving things people told you were impossible. But you can't get that kind of power until you get rid of distractions. You've got to be willing to shut things off. You've got to be willing to tell your friends, not today, I'm grinding. You've got to be willing to turn off your phone, to log out of social media, to cut off the noise. You've got to guard your focus like it's your life, because it is. Every distraction costs you time. Every distraction costs you energy. Every distraction steals a piece of your dream. Some of you are trying to build a $1 billion dream with a 5-cent focus. You're trying to achieve greatness, but you're distracted by gossip, by entertainment, by temporary pleasures. You're trying to build your future while you keep stopping to check what everybody else is doing. That's why you're frustrated. That's why you feel stuck. You're not locked in. You're not focused. Listen to me. If you want to change your life, you got to learn to focus like a laser. A laser can cut through steel, not because it's powerful by itself, but because it's focused. Your energy, your talent, your potential, it's already inside you, but it's scattered. You've got to aim it. You got to direct it. You got to lock it on your goal and refuse to look anywhere else. You can't afford to waste time on things that don't matter. You can't afford to waste energy on people who don't push you forward. You can't afford to split your focus between your dream and your distractions. You got to choose. You got to decide what matters most and give it everything you've got. Focus is not about intensity for one day. Focus is about consistency every day. It's not about going hard for a week. It's about going hard for years. It's about showing up every single day, whether you feel like it or not, whether it's easy or not, whether it's convenient or not. It's about refusing to be pulled away from your mission, no matter what happens. That's focus. Think about an athlete training for the Olympics. For 4 years, they're locked in. They're not out partying every weekend. They're not wasting time. They're not distracted. They're focused. Every meal, every workout, every practice, every decision is centered around one goal: winning. Winning. That's the kind of focus you need for your dream, not halfway. Not when it's convenient. Every single day, locked in. You say you want to be great, but do you want it enough to focus? Do you want it enough to cut off distractions? Do you want it enough to give up comfort, give up entertainment? Because if you don't, stop lying to yourself. Stop lying to yourself. Success is not for the distracted. Success is for the focused. When you focus, you stop comparing yourself. You stop worrying about what everybody else is doing. You stop trying to keep up with people who aren't even on your path. You stop getting pulled into drama, into nonsense, into negativity. You keep your eyes on your goal, your mind on your mission, your heart on your dream. And when you do that, you become unstoppable. Focus like a laser. Cut through the noise, cut through the distractions, cut through the excuses. Lock in on your dream and don't let go until it's done. Because the truth is, you don't need more time. You don't need more talent. You don't need more resources. You need more focus. Once you lock in, once you direct all your energy into one direction, you'll start seeing results you never thought were possible. Motivation is a spark, but discipline is the fire that keeps burning. Motivation comes and goes. Discipline stays. Motivation is a feeling, and feelings change. Discipline is a decision, and decisions create your destiny. Too many of you are waiting to feel motivated before you move. Too many of you are sitting around saying, well, I don't feel like it today. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll start when I'm inspired. And that's why you're not where you want to be. Because motivation is temporary, but discipline is forever. Motivation might get you started, but it's discipline that keeps you going when it gets hard. It's discipline that makes you wake up when the alarm goes off and every part of your body wants to stay in bed. It's discipline that makes you show up to the gym when you're tired. When you're tired. It's discipline that makes you study when your friends are out having fun. It's discipline that makes you work on your dream when nobody's watching, when nobody's clapping, when nobody's giving you credit. Motivation won't carry you through those moments. Discipline will. Discipline will. I need you to hear me. Discipline means you do it whether you feel like it or not. Discipline means you do it because you said you were going to do it. Discipline means your word is law. When you tell yourself you're going to do something, you do it. No excuses, no negotiations, no bargaining. Discipline means you control your mind, your body, your actions, not the other way around. Most people live their life letting their feelings control them. They only move when they feel good. They only grind when they feel inspired. They only work when it's convenient. That's why most people never make it. Champions, winners, the great one, they move regardless of how they feel. They move on discipline. Listen, I don't wake up every day motivated. There are days I don't feel like getting up. There are days I don't feel like grinding. There are days I don't feel like doing this work, but I don't operate on feelings. I operate on standards. I operate on discipline. I made a decision a long time ago that I was gonna give my dream everything I had. And when you make that kind of decision, your feelings don't get a vote anymore. Discipline silences the excuses. Discipline silences the laziness. Discipline silences the procrastination. Motivation is like the weather. Some days it's sunny. Some days it's rainy. Some days it's stormy. You can't control it. You can't depend on it. But discipline is like the foundation of your house. It doesn't move. It doesn't change. It doesn't depend on how you feel. It holds you steady. Motivation might make you feel good for a day, but discipline will change your life forever. The problem with too many of you is that you're addicted to motivation. You keep chasing speeches, videos, hype, waiting for that one message that will change everything. But no speech can change your life if you don't apply discipline. Motivation can light a fire in you for a moment, but discipline is what keeps that fire burning when the motivation fades. Stop chasing the hype and start building habits. Stop waiting for the spark and start laying bricks every day. That's discipline. Discipline is not glamorous. Discipline is not sexy. Discipline is not exciting. Discipline is doing the same thing every day, over and over, until it becomes who you are. Discipline is boring to most people, but boring builds empires. Boring creates consistency. Boring produces results. Motivation gives you the feeling, but discipline gives you the fruit. Some of you are wondering why your life hasn't changed. It's because you keep depending on motivation. You go to a seminar, you get hyped up, you're ready to take on the world. And 2 weeks later, you're back to your old habits. You watch a video, you get inspired. You start for a few days, and then you quit. That's because motivation wears off. Discipline doesn't. Discipline says even when the excitement is gone, I'm still going to show up. Even when I don't feel it, I'm still going to push. Even when it hurts, I'm still going to grind. That's why discipline will always beat motivation. Motivation might help you win a day, but discipline will help you win a lifetime. Discipline builds character. Discipline builds habits. Discipline builds momentum. Motivation is emotional. Discipline is structural. Motivation is short-term. Discipline is long-term. Motivation is about how you feel. Discipline is about who you are. I want you to ask yourself, do you want to be the type of person who only moves when it feels good? Or do you want to be the type of person who moves no matter what? Do you want to be average like everybody else, or do you want to be great? Greatness is built on discipline. Every athlete you admire, every leader you respect, every person who achieved something extraordinary, they didn't get there because they were always motivated. They got there because they were disciplined. They showed up when they didn't feel like it. They worked when they didn't want to. They pushed when everything inside them said stop. Discipline is freedom. Discipline gives you control. Discipline gives you results. Motivation is unreliable, but discipline is unstoppable. When you train yourself to be disciplined, you don't need to wait for the right mood, the right time, the right inspiration. You just move. You just act. You just do what needs to be done. That's how you win. So stop saying you're waiting for motivation. Stop saying you'll start when you feel ready. Stop saying you'll go hard when you're inspired. You don't need to be inspired, you need to be disciplined. Discipline is waking up and doing it anyway. Discipline is pushing yourself when nobody's watching. Discipline is grinding when nobody believes in you. Discipline is choosing progress over excuses every single day. Every day you have a choice, be motivated or be disciplined. Motivation says, do it if you feel like it. Discipline says, do it no matter what. Motivation says, start strong. Discipline says, finish stronger. Motivation says, I'll try. Discipline says, I will. Motivation is temporary. Discipline is permanent. Listen to me, the world doesn't care about your motivation. Life doesn't care if you feel like it. Success doesn't care if you're in the mood. What matters is what you do consistently, day after day. That's why discipline is the key. Discipline is what will get you to the gym when it's raining. Discipline is what will make you write the book when you're tired. Discipline is what will make you save money when you want to spend it. Discipline is what will make you study when your friends are out. Discipline is what will make you build when everybody else is chilling. Discipline creates transformation. Discipline turns potential into progress. Discipline turns goals into reality. Discipline turns dreams into destiny. Stop waiting for motivation to knock on your door. It's not coming every day. But discipline is something you can build, something you can train, something you can choose every single day. And once you build it, nothing can stop you. Failure is not here for the process. Too many people stop because they fall once, twice, 3 times, and they start believing that the dream is not for them. But I'm telling you, every single person you admire, every success story you celebrate, every champion you look up to has one thing in common. They failed, and they failed often. The difference is they didn't stay down. They got back up, they adjusted, they learned, and they kept moving. That's what separates the average from the extraordinary. It's not about whether you fail, it's about what you do when you fail. Do you quit, or do you take the lesson, apply it, and move forward stronger than before? Think about the baby learning how to walk. They don't come out the womb running. They stumble, they fall, they hit the floor over and over again. But you don't see a baby falling one time and saying, maybe walking ain't for me. No. They get up, they try again, they fall again. But every single time they get stronger, learning balance, building muscles, gaining confidence. Eventually they're walking, then running. Failure was just a step in the process, not the end of the story. So why do we, as adults, treat failure like it's permanent? Why do we let one rejection, one mistake, one closed door define us? Every failure is a classroom. Life is the teacher, and the lesson is hidden in the pain. But you gotta be willing to look at it the right way. Too many people get emotional about failure. They cry, they get bitter, they start blaming others, blaming circumstances, blaming life. But winners, champions, they analyze failure. They study it. They ask, what went wrong? What can I do differently next time? How can I grow from this? That's the difference between staying stuck and breaking through. Failure is feedback. It's life's way of showing you the adjustments you need to make to hit the target. I need you to understand that failing is not losing. Quitting is losing. Let me say that again. Failing is not losing. Quitting is losing. As long as you're still in the game, as long as you're still trying, still pushing, still working, you're not a loser. You're in the process. You're growing. You're becoming. But the moment you give up, that's when it's over. Too many people throw away their dreams because they don't want to feel the sting of failure. They'd rather stay comfortable, stay safe, stay average than risk failing. But the truth is, the people who win big are the ones who are willing to fail big. Because when you fail big, you learn big, you grow big, and eventually you win big. Look at history. Look at Thomas Edison. He failed 1,000 times before he finally invented the light bulb. 1,000 failures. Most people would have quit after 10, after 10, after 10, after 100. But Edison kept going because he didn't see failure as final. He said, I didn't fail. I just found 1,000 ways that didn't work. That's the mindset you need. Every time you fall short, it's just one way that didn't work. You're not starting from zero. You're starting from experience. Michael Jordan, the greatest basketball player of all time, he missed more than 9,000 shots in his career. He lost nearly 300 games. 26 times, he was trusted to take the game-winning shot and he missed. He said, I have failed over and over and over and over again in my life. Again in my life. And that is why I succeed. You see, success is built on a foundation of failure. Every miss prepared him for the mates. Every loss prepared him for the wins. Without the failure, there would be no greatness. So stop running from failure. Stop fearing it. Stop letting it paralyze you. Instead, embrace it, expect it, and when it comes, use it. Because failures, few know how to burn it. Every failure should light a fire under you to come back stronger, sharper, more determined. The pain of failure should push you to train harder, study more, prepare better, focus deeper. Don't waste the pain. Convert it into power. The reason so many people never reach their dreams is because they misinterpret failure. They see it as a sign to stop instead of a sign to keep going. They see it as a dead end instead of a detour. They see it as punishment instead of preparation. But when you shift your mindset, failure becomes a gift. It's the universe testing you, asking, how bad do you want it? Anybody can keep going when things are easy. Anybody can stay motivated when everything is working out. But when you get knocked down, when your plans collapse, when you fall flat on your face, that's the real test. That's the real test. Do you keep swinging? Do you keep chasing? I promise you this. The people who succeed aren't the ones who had the perfect plan, the smoothest road, the easiest path. They're the ones who had scars, bruises, and broken bones, but they kept walking. But they kept walking. They're the ones who failed so many times it would make most people quit. But they refused to stay down. That's why they shine. That's why they inspire. Because they show us that failure is not fatal. When you fail, it doesn't mean you're not good enough. It doesn't mean your dream isn't valid. It just means you got more work to do. It means you got more growing to do. It means the version of you that failed wasn't ready yet, but the version of you that rises from that failure will be. That's the process of transformation. Failure breaks you down so it can build you up stronger. So the next time you fail, don't hang your head in shame. Don't hide. Don't quit. Look at that failure in the face and say, thank you for the lesson. Now watch me rise. Because every failure you survive makes you more resilient. Every time you bounce back, you build confidence. Every time you fall and get up, you prove to yourself that you can't be stopped. The truth is, the road to success is paved with failure. You cannot avoid it. You cannot skip it. You cannot bypass it. The only way to succeed is to go through it. So stop trying to dodge failure. Instead, learn to navigate it. Learn to leverage it. Learn to use it as a stepping stone to the next level. Because the more you fail, the closer you get to the breakthrough. Remember this, diamonds are formed under pressure, gold is purified through fire, and champions are built through failure. If you want to be great, you got to be willing to go through the pressure, through the fire, through the failures. Don't run from it, run through it. And when you do, you'll look back one day and realize that every failure was necessary, every mistake was worth it, every fall was part of the climb. Oh, that's why failing forward is the key. Don't just fail, fail forward. Fail forward. Fail in a way that moves you closer to your goal. Fail in a way that teaches you something new. Fail in a way that stretches you beyond your limits. Because if you fail forward, then every failure is progress. Every failure is growth. Every failure is another step toward your dream. So hear me, don't let failure break you. Let it build you. Don't let it stop you. Let it push you. Don't let it define you. Let it refine you. Because at the end of the day, success is not the absence of failure. It's the mastery of it. And if you can master failure, if you can learn to fail forward, there is nothing on this planet that can stop you from reaching your destiny. When you look at this world, you'll see people chasing money like it's everything. They're willing to sacrifice their time, their health, their relationships, just to stack up paper. And don't get me wrong, money is important. You need it to survive, to take care of your family, to enjoy certain freedom. But here's the truth most people never understand. Money runs out. Money comes and goes. But your dream, your true calling, your purpose, that's priceless. That's eternal. When you live your dream, you're not just chasing a paycheck, you're creating a legacy. And a legacy is worth more than any dollar amount you could ever count. See, here's the problem with chasing only money. The moment you get something, you want more. You buy a car, then you want a better one. You buy a house, then you want a bigger one. You get one chain, then you want 5. You're never satisfied because money can only fill your head, it can never fill your soul. But when you chase your dream, when you live in alignment with your purpose, when you wake up every day doing what you were born to do, that's a satisfaction no currency can buy. You got to ask yourself, what's going to matter 10 years from now? 20 years from now when you're old, when your time is almost up? Is it going to be the dollars you stack, or is it going to be the impact you made? Nobody gets to the end of their life wishing they made more money. They get to the end wishing they lived more, loved more, gave more, risked more. That's the power of a dream. It makes life worth living. It gives meaning to the grind, to the struggle, to the pain. Your dream is not just about you. That's why it's worth more than money. Money stops with you, but your dream, your purpose, it flows through you into other people's lives. When you chase your dream, you're inspiring your kids, your community, the people watching you. You're showing them what's possible. You're breaking chains, breaking cycles, opening doors that money alone can't open. A dream builds legacies. Money might buy your family a comfortable life, but your dream can shift generations. Understand this. When you put money above your dream, you limit yourself. You become a slave to the paycheck, to the system, to whatever someone else decides you're worth. But when you pursue your dream, when you live your purpose, the money follows. And not just money, but fulfillment, joy, peace of mind. Because you're no longer working just for survival, you're working for significance, and significance lasts longer than success. Think about some of the greatest people in history. Martin Luther King Jr. didn't chase money, he chased the dream of equality. Gandhi didn't chase money, he chased the dream of freedom. Mother Teresa didn't chase money, she chased money. She chased a dream of serving humanity. And guess what? Their legacies outlive any billionaire you can name. We remember them not because of what they had in their bank account, but because of the impact of their dreams. Even in business, look at the innovators. Steve Jobs, he didn't build Apple because he wanted to be rich. He built it because he had a dream to put technology in the hands of ordinary people. Elon Musk didn't just want money. He had a dream to push humanity forward, to explore space, to make the impossible possible. The money came later. The money always comes later. The dream has to come first. Here's the mistake people make. They think money will bring them purpose. They think once they get the bag, then they'll chase the dream. But that's backwards. Purpose comes first, money follows. Chase money without purpose and you'll end up empty, tired, broken, wondering why you don't feel fulfilled. Chase purpose, and not only will you live a life worth living, but you'll attract the money, the resources, the opportunities you need. But let me be real, with chasing your dream is harder than chasing money. Money is straightforward. You show up, you put in hours, you get paid. But your dream, that takes sacrifice, that takes risk, that takes courage. You might not get paid right away. You might fail a few times. People might laugh at you, doubt you, tell you you're wasting your time. And that's why most people settle for just chasing the money. It's easier, it's safer. But the few who chase the dream, they're the ones who change the world. You gotta decide what you value more, comfort or calling, paycheck or purpose. And let me tell you, if you choose purpose, you won't regret it. Because even if it takes longer, even if it costs you more, even if it's harder, you'll know you're living your truth. You'll know you're not wasting your life trading your time for something temporary. You'll know that every day you're building something eternal. And here's the thing, you don't have to choose between money and dreams. If you chase the dream the right way, the money will come too. Because when you're excellent at what you do, when you're passionate, when you're consistent, when you're living with purpose, people notice, opportunities come. Doors open, success finds you. But you gotta put the dream first. The dream is the foundation, the money is the byproduct. Don't get it twisted. Stop undervaluing your dream. Stop telling yourself it's not practical. It won't pay the bills. It's not realistic. That's fear talking. That's doubt talking. And if you listen to it, you'll spend your whole life chasing paper and never once living your purpose. And when it's all said and done, you'll look back and realize you were rich in dollars but poor in life. Don't let that be your story. I want you to think right now, if money wasn't an issue, if bills didn't exist, if you never had to work for a paycheck again, what would you do with your life? That answer, that passion, that thing that lights you up, that's your dream. That's what you were born to do. That's worth more than money. And if you're bold enough, disciplined enough, hungry enough to chase it, you'll have both the dream and the dollars. But if you flip it, if you chase only the dollars, you might end up with neither. Because money without purpose burns you out. It drains you. It leaves you empty. But a dream energizes you. It keeps you alive. It keeps you moving even when you're tired, even when you're broke, even when you're doubted. A dream is fuel. So I need you to stop thinking small. Stop thinking about just surviving. Stop thinking about just paying bills and buying things. Start thinking about legacy. Start thinking about impact. Start thinking about what your life will mean when you're gone. Because money disappears, but your dream, that lives on. That's why it's worth more than any amount of money you could ever chase. And the beautiful thing is, once you align with your dream, once you commit to it, once you go all in, the grind feels different. You don't wake up dreading Monday. You don't count the hours until Friday. You don't need a vacation to escape your life because your life is the dream. That's real wealth. That's real success. That's real freedom. So yes, go get your money. Take care of your family. Build your empire. But don't you ever forget, money is just a tool. Your dream is the treasure. And if you have to choose, always choose the dream. Because at the end of the day, your money can run out, but your purpose, your legacy, your dream, that will outlive you. That's the only currency that really matters. Every single day you wake up, you're making deposits into your future. Every choice, every action, every habit, it's all stacking up. The problem is most people don't realize how powerful consistency is. They think success comes from one big move, one lucky break, one grand opportunity. But success doesn't show up in one day. It shows up because of what you do every day. The small, consistent actions you take become the compound interest of your life. The same way money multiplies when you invest it, your efforts multiply when you stay consistent. Think about it. You don't get in shape by going to the gym one time. You don't get strong because you lifted weights on Monday. You get strong when you keep showing up day after day, even when you're tired, even when you don't feel like it. The body changes not from intensity once in a while, but from consistency over time. And life is the same way. Whatever you're chasing, whether it's your dream, your career, your health, your relationships, it doesn't grow because of what you do once. It grows because of what you do repeatedly. That's the power of habits. A single action seems small, almost insignificant. Reading 10 pages of a book today doesn't change your life. Saving $50 this week doesn't make you rich. Practicing your craft for an hour today doesn't make you a master. But stack that up over weeks, months, years, and the transformation is undeniable. 10 pages a day becomes a library in a year. $50 a week becomes thousands in a year. 1 hour of practice a day becomes mastery in a few years. That's the compound effect of consistency. Most people fail not because they don't have talent, not because they don't have opportunity, but because they don't have consistency. So they start strong, they get excited, they go hard for a week, maybe a month, and then they quit when it gets boring, when it gets hard, when they don't see immediate result. Champions, winners, they keep going long after the excitement wears off. They keep showing up even when nobody's clapping, even when nobody's watching, even when nothing seems to be happening. And eventually their consistency pays off. Think about a bamboo tree. You water it, you nurture it, and for years, nothing happened, no growth above the ground. Most people would stop watering, stop caring because they don't see results. But if you stay consistent, if you keep watering, in the 5th year that bamboo tree shoots up almost 90 feet in just weeks. Did it grow in weeks? No, it grew in years of invisible consistency. Success works the same way. You might not see it right away, but every act of discipline, every step forward, every day you stay committed is preparing you for that explosive growth. That's why you can't quit. Just because you don't see results yet doesn't mean nothing's happening. Your work is building roots underground. Your effort is creating a foundation you can't see yet. And one day, if you don't give up, it's going to explode into something bigger than you imagine, but only if you're consistent. The problem is inconsistency kills dreams. You can't plant seeds and keep digging them up to see if they're growing. You can't work today, quit tomorrow, and expect harvest. Success is stubborn. Only comes to those who keep showing up. That's why discipline is more important than motivation. Motivation is a feeling, it comes and goes. Discipline is a decision. It's what keeps you consistent when motivation fades. You've got to understand, consistency isn't glamorous. It's not flashy. It's not always exciting. It's waking up early when you rather sleep in. It's practicing when nobody notices. It's grinding when you're tired. It's doing the right thing when the wrong thing feels easier. And that's why most people don't make it. Because consistency is boring. But boring builds empires. Ordinary repeated actions create extraordinary results. Think about the sun. It doesn't burn the earth by being bright one day. It burns by showing up every day consistently in the same place, doing its job. That's what you gotta be like. A steady force, not just hot once in a while, but dependable, relentless, unshakable. That's how you leave a mark. When you're consistent, people start to trust you. They know who you are, what you stand for, what you'll deliver. And more importantly, you start to trust yourself. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you build confidence. You start believing in your own word. And that belief creates momentum. It makes you unstoppable. But when you're inconsistent, you destroy that trust. You stop believing in yourself. You tell yourself you'll wake up early, then you hit snooze. You tell yourself you'll eat better, then you binge. You tell yourself you'll work on your dream, then you procrastinate. Every broken promise weakens your belief in yourself. And when you don't believe in you, who else will? That's why consistency matters. It's not just about results, it's about identity. You become what you repeatedly do. If you consistently quit, you become a quitter. If you consistently complain, you become bitter. But if you consistently fight, consistently show up, consistently give your best, you become a warrior. You become resilient. You become the kind of person who achieves dreams. Look at athletes. The greatest aren't the ones with the most talent. They're the ones who practice every single day, who discipline their bodies, who repeat the same drills thousands of times until it becomes second nature. Kobe Bryant didn't become Kobe because of talent alone. He became Kobe because he was the first one in the gym, the last one to leave, consistent for decades. That's what made him great. And the same principle applies to your life. You want to build a business? Be consistent. You want to write a book? Be consistent. You want to get healthy? Be consistent. You want to change your life? Be consistent. It doesn't matter how small the action is. What matters is that you do it every day without fail. The danger is that inconsistency creates cycles. You go hard, you stop, you start again, stop, and every time you stop, you lose momentum. You waste energy restarting, you get discouraged, and eventually you quit altogether. But if you stay consistent, even at a small pace, you keep moving forward. And small steps every day will always beat big leaps once in a while. That's why you gotta stop waiting for the perfect time, the perfect mood, the perfect condition. Just start. Once you start, don't stop. Build the habit. Let consistency become part of who you are. Because when you're consistent long enough, it doesn't feel like work anymore. It becomes your lifestyle. And here's the truth. Consistency is not about being perfect. It's about persistent. You will mess up. You will have off days. You will stumble. But consistency means you don't let that stop you. You get back on track immediately. You don't let one bad day become a bad week, one mistake become a habit. You keep moving, you keep stacking, you keep building. Imagine your dream like a wall you're building. Every day you lay one brick, just one. It doesn't look like much at first. No, it doesn't look like much at first. But if you keep laying bricks every day, eventually you'll have a wall so strong, so tall, nobody can ignore it. That's how dreams are built. Not overnight, not a one giant leap, but brick by brick, day by day. The question is, will you stay consistent long enough to see it through? Most people don't. They quit too soon. They get distracted. They want instant results. But you're different. You gotta decide that you'll be relentless, that you'll show up no matter what, that you'll keep stacking bricks until the wall is complete. Because here's the secret. Consistency compounds. And when it compounds long enough, it creates momentum. And momentum is unstoppable. Once the train is moving, nothing can slow it down. But you gotta push long enough to get the train moving. You gotta stay consistent long enough to build that unstoppable force. So don't underestimate the small actions. Don't despise the slow progress. Don't quit because you don't see results right away. Trust the process. Stay consistent because one day you'll wake up and everything you've been working for, everything you've been grinding for, everything you've been building will be yours. And it won't be because of one big move, but because of thousands of small, consistent steps that compounded into greatness. Hunger is the difference maker. Hunger is what separates the ones who want it from the ones who get it. You can have all the talent in the world, but if you don't have hunger, you'll waste it. You can be the smartest, the fastest, the strongest, but if you're not hungry enough, someone with less talent, less skill, less resources will pass you, because hunger pushes you to do what talent won't. Hunger makes you relentless. Hunger makes you keep fighting when others quit. Hunger keeps you alive inside when everything around you tries to break you down. I've seen people with so much potential do nothing with their lives because they were comfortable. They had enough to get by, so they stopped fighting for more. They didn't want it bad enough. And then I've seen people who came from nothing, who didn't have talent, who didn't have support, who didn't have resources, but they had hunger. They had fire in their belly. They had a refusal to quit. And because of that hunger, they rose to the top. That's the truth. Hunger beats talent when talent isn't hungry. Hunger is what gets you out of bed when the alarm goes off. Hunger is what keeps you studying when your friends are out partying. Hunger is what makes you practice your craft when nobody's watching, when nobody's clapping, when nobody believes in you. Hunger doesn't care about circumstances. Hunger doesn't care about excuses. Hunger says, I don't care what it takes, I'm going to find a way. And that's why hunger wins. Think about athletes. There are countless stories of underdogs beating champions. Why? Because the underdog was hungrier. The champion had the talent, the skill, the experience, but they got comfortable. They got used to winning. They stopped grinding the way they used to. Meanwhile, the underdog was starving for that victory. They were training harder, working longer, sacrificing more. And when the two met, hunger devoured talent. Hunger is not something you can fake. You can't pretend to be hungry because true hunger shows in your actions. It shows in your work ethic, shows in your commitment. If you say you're hungry, but you're still sleeping in, still making excuses, still quitting when it gets hard, then you're not hungry. You're just interested. There's a difference between being interested in something and being hungry for it. Interested people do it when it's convenient. Hungry people do it no matter what. Hunger is survival mode. Think about someone who hasn't eaten in days. They don't care about pride. They don't care about comfort. They don't care about what people think. They'll do whatever it takes to get food because their life depends on it. That's the kind of hunger you need for your dreams. You've got to treat your goals like your life depends on them, because in a way it does. Your dream is your life. Your purpose is your life. If you're not hungry for it, you're not living. You're just existing. But hunger doesn't just show up. You've got to create it. You got to feed it. And the way you feed your hunger is by reminding yourself of your why. Why are you chasing this dream? Who are you doing it for? What's at stake if you quit? The clearer your why, the stronger your hunger. Because hunger grows when you attach it to something bigger than yourself. If it's just about you, you'll quit when it gets hard. But if it's about your family, your legacy, breaking generational curses, proving people wrong, inspiring others, now your hunger is unstoppable. Hunger also comes from discipline. The more you push yourself, the hungrier you get. The more you sacrifice, the more you want to make it worth it. Hunger feeds on action. You can't sit around waiting to feel hungry. You've got to put yourself in motion, and the hunger will grow as you move. Every step you take toward your dream increases your appetite for more. And here's the truth. Life will test your hunger. It will knock you down. It will throw obstacles in your way. It will make you question yourself. That's when hunger shows itself. Because when you're hungry, you don't stop at the first no, the first failure, the first rejection. Hunger makes you resourceful. Hunger makes you find another door when one closes. Hunger makes you dig deep when you've got nothing left. And that's why hunger beats talent. Because talent quits when it gets uncomfortable, but hunger thrives in discomfort. I want you to think right now, how hungry are you? Are you hungry enough to give up comfort? Are you hungry enough to sacrifice sleep? Are you hungry enough to cut out distractions, to ignore the doubters, to keep grinding even when it hurts? Because if you're not, then don't be surprised when someone hungrier than you takes the spot you thought belonged to you. The world doesn't reward talent. It rewards hunger. Look at history. Every great innovator, every leader, every trailblazer, they weren't always the most talented, but they were the hungriest. They were the ones who refused to quit, who kept pushing when everyone else stopped. That hunger made them legends. And the same can happen for you if you stop relying on talent and start feeding your hunger. Hunger will make you study when others sleep. Hunger will make you train while others relax. Hunger will make you work on your vision after your 9 to 5 while others are watching Netflix. Hunger will make you different, and different is what wins. But you gotta protect your hunger. Comfort kills hunger. Complacency kills hunger. Surrounding yourself with people who settle, who don't push themselves, who accept average, that will starve your hunger. You've got to be around people who are as hungry as you are hungrier. People who make you uncomfortable with how hard they work. People who remind you that you still got more in the tank. That's how you keep your hunger alive. The moment you think you've made it, you stop being hungry. The moment you get comfortable, you start losing. That's why even when you achieve success, you gotta stay hungry. Never settle, never get satisfied. Because the day you lose hunger is the day you stop growing. And hunger isn't just about achieving success, it's about sustaining it. Anybody can get lucky once, anybody can win once. But hunger is what makes you consistent. Hunger is what makes you dominate year after year. Because hunger doesn't let you relax. Hunger keeps you chasing, keeps you striving, keeps you evolving. That's why the greats never stop working. They're never satisfied, never complacent. They stay hungry, and that's why they stay great. You can have a dream. You can have a dream, but if you're not hungry for it, it will stay a dream. You can have talent, but if you're not hungry, it will go to waste. But if you're hungry, truly hungry, nothing can stop you. Not failure, not rejection, not pain, not doubt. Hunger will push you through it all. Hunger will keep you going when your body is tired, when your mind is tired, when your heart is broken. Hunger will remind you why you started and keep you moving until you finish. So I'm asking you again, how hungry are you? Do you want it as bad as you want to breathe? Do you want it as bad as you want to eat when you're starving? Do you want it as bad as your next heartbeat? Because if you don't, you'll always lose to the one who does. Hunger wins. Hunger wins. Hunger always wins. If you want to live your dream, if you want to build your legacy, if you want to change your life, you've got to be hungrier than everyone else. Hungrier than your excuses. Hungrier than your doubts. Hungrier than your fears. Because hunger is what makes the impossible possible. Hunger is what turns potential into reality. Hunger is what transforms ordinary people into extraordinary legends. So don't just rely on talent. Don't just rely on opportunities. Feed your hunger. Protect your hunger. Let it drive you. Let it drive you. Let it consume you. Let it push you past your limits. Because in the end, it's not the most talented who win. It's the hungriest. Comfort is a silent killer of dreams. It doesn't come at you loud. It doesn't attack you violently. It sneaks up on you. It whispers in your ear, you've done enough, you deserve to relax, you can slow down now. In the moment you listen, you start losing ground. That's the trap so many people fall into. They achieve a little success, they hit a milestone, and instead of pushing further, they get comfortable. But comfort is the enemy of growth. Comfort is the enemy of greatness. Comfort is what separates the average from the extraordinary. Think about it. Every time in your life that you've grown, every time you've evolved, every time you've leveled up, it was never in a moment of comfort. Growth doesn't happen when you're sitting back with your feet up. Growth happens in a struggle. Growth happens in a stretch. Growth happens when you're uncomfortable, when you're pushing yourself beyond what you thought you could do. Comfort keeps you safe, but it also keeps you small. And if you're chasing your dreams, small is not enough. People love comfort because it feels good. Comfort feels like security, it feels like peace, it feels like relief. But here's the problem. Comfort creates a false sense of accomplishment. Comfort tricks you into believing you made it when in reality, you've only scratched the surface. That's why so many people plateau. They start strong, they grind hard, they see results, and then they stop. They settle, they get comfortable. And once you settle, your hunger starts to die, your edge disappears, and you lose the momentum that was carrying you forward. Comfort isn't just a personal trap, it's a societal trap. Look around you. Most people are content with just enough money to get by, just enough effort to keep their job, just enough discipline to stay afloat. But a just enough doesn't create legends. A just enough doesn't change the world. Just enough doesn't fulfill your potential. If you buy into that mindset, you'll never know how far you could have gone. And here's the truth. Your dream is on the other side of discomfort. Everything you want, success, impact, legacy, freedom, it all lies outside of your comfort zone. That's why the majority never reach it. They're unwilling to endure the pain, the sacrifice, the uncertainty that comes with stepping out of comfort. But the few who are willing, the few who embrace this comfort, that's who achieves greatness. Let's be real. Discomfort is scary. It's supposed to be. It's your body and your mind's way of telling you. This is new, this is risky, this is different, but that's also the signal that you're growing. If you're always comfortable, you're standing still. If you're uncomfortable, it means you're moving forward. Too many people mistake discomfort as a sign to stop. In reality, it's a sign to keep going. Comfort shows up in different forms. It can be physical comfort, the pull of your bed when you should be up grinding. It can be emotional comfort, the safety of not putting yourself out there because you're afraid of rejection. It can be financial comfort, settling for a paycheck instead of building something bigger. Whatever form it takes, comfort is always about choosing an easy path instead of the growth path. And every time you choose comfort over growth, you kill a little piece of your dream. You got to train yourself to get comfortable being uncomfortable. You've got to rewire your mind to see discomfort not as something to avoid, but as something to chase. Because discomfort is proof that you're stretching. Discomfort is proof that you're evolving. The weightlifter doesn't grow muscle by lifting light, comfortable weights. They grow by lifting heavier, uncomfortable ones. The same is true in life. Your dream will require you to lift heavier loads than you think you can handle. That's how you grow into the person capable of carrying it. Comfort kills hunger. When you're comfortable, you stop striving. You stop pushing. You stop sacrificing. Hunger dies when it gets fed too much comfort. That's why some of the hungriest people are the ones who've had the hardest lives. They never had the luxury of comfort. Struggle kept them sharp. Struggle kept them moving. Meanwhile, people who had everything handed to them often lacked that fire because comfort was all they ever knew. But you don't have to wait for life to force you into discomfort. You can create it yourself. You can push yourself to wake up earlier, to train harder, to learn more, to step into situations that scare you. You can deliberately choose to sacrifice comfort for growth. That's how you build resilience. That's how you build strength. That's how you condition yourself for greatness. Greatness. Ask yourself right now, where are you too comfortable? Maybe you're comfortable in your job, even though it's not fulfilling you. Maybe you're comfortable in your routine, even though it's not challenging you. Maybe you're comfortable in your relationships, even though they're not pushing you to grow. Wherever comfort has you trapped, that's where you need to break free. Because as long as you stay there, your dream will remain just a dream. Comfort also breeds fear. The longer you stay in comfort, the scarier change feels. You start believing the lie that you're not capable of more. But once you take that first step out of comfort, you realize the fear was an illusion. You realize you're stronger, smarter, and more capable than you gave yourself credit for. That's the gift of discomfort. It reveals what you're really made of. Don't get me wrong, comfort has its place. Rest is necessary. Recovery is important. But there's a difference between resting to recharge and living in comfort to avoid growth. Rest is temporary. Comfort is permanent. Rest makes you stronger. Comfort makes you weaker. You gotta learn to rest strategically without letting comfort take over your life. The reason why most people never live their dreams is because they choose comfort over courage. They'd rather stay safe than take a risk. They'd rather stay average than face rejection. They'd rather stay stuck than step into the unknown. And then they wonder why nothing changes. The truth is, your life will only change when you get tired of being comfortable. When the pain of staying the same becomes greater than the pain of changing, that's when you'll move. I need you to picture your dream right now. Whatever it is, a business, a career, financial freedom, impact, legacy. Now ask yourself, how badly do you want it? Bad enough to give up comfort? Bad enough to step into discomfort every single day? Because that's the price. You can't have comfort and greatness at the same time. You've got to choose. And if you choose comfort, you've chosen to let your dream die. So don't get comfortable. Don't settle. Don't let comfort trick you into thinking you've arrived. Keep stretching. Keep grinding. Keep stepping into the discomfort that comes with growth. Because discomfort may hurt in the moment, but comfort will kill you in the long run. Comfort will rob you of your potential, your purpose, your legacy. Your dream deserves more than comfort. Your family deserves more than comfort. Your future deserves more than comfort. And if you're serious about living the life you're capable of, you've got to declare war on comfort. You've got to chase discomfort like your life depends on it, because in a way it does. The life you want, the person you want to become, the impact you want to make, it all depends on whether you're willing to let go of comfort and step into the unknown.